So what is this modern trend we're seeing on the tour with players with a bowed wrist? Is this going to be the new way to swing the club, or is this just a trend or something that we're only seeing in a select few players who all happen to be at the top of the game at the moment? Let's have a little dig into this and see how this could be applicable to your game. So if you're new to the channel, welcome guys. This channel is all about creating the content to help you lower your scores and increase your enjoyment of the game. So if there's anything you want in the future going forward, make some comments on areas where you'd like us to cover. We'll endeavour to cover that content to help you with your game. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Hit the bell icon, that way you miss no notifications. And if you've enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. On to today's content. We are looking at a trend on the tour of lots of players with a bowed left wrist. We can put in Jon Rahm, we look at current #1 Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, Colin Morikawa just on the tour now, and Victor Hovland, who's also just turned pro. All these guys are young in their 20s and hit the ball a mile, but with this bowed wrist. Why is it they're doing this? Is this something you need to be doing for your game, or is it something you need to know a few pitfalls of before potentially having a go at? What we saw is for many years, everyone used to talk how wrist alignment at the top led to the ball going offline. Now, we know that it isn't the case and it makes the ball go offline. We look at these guys, they all hit the ball phenomenal, prodigious distances and have phenomenal control of the ball flight. But they're really athletic and strong. So when we're talking about this bowed wrist, what they're doing is at the top, the wrist is in this position here and the club face is a little bit more closed. Now if you're going to play like this, you want to have your arms sat a little bit higher on the body because it gives a lot of space for those arms coming down. If you get a bowed wrist and a flat here, you'll be so far from the inside with a slightly closed face that the ball will always want to hook and go off to the left. So if you're a flat swinger, okay, if you look back to someone like a Ben Hogan, he swung it relatively quite rounded but had a little bit more cup in the wrist, so therefore he could play these sort of inside rotated little fades but hitting the ball as hard as he wanted to. We look at all the guys now, might be due to their physiques as well, with slightly longer arms, but all of them have got the arms either on the shoulder plane or above and this bowed wrist. But it isn't making the ball go offline. But what they have got is they've got tremendous speed. They all hit the gym really hard, they're really athletic, and they create a lot of power from their body. What they're doing though is they're effectively getting the club into a position here at the top, getting it a bit more bowed, and on the way down turning really hard, and then they don't have to do anything because they've almost preset an impact position for the wrist, and they just rotate and they can just deliver that club face position and just hit it as hard as they want to. Now there's more things going individually in each person's downswing because they're all got unique traits, but they've all got that wrist position at the top, and they all hit, well, most of the players from thought here hit a slight cut. So they effectively shift that path left, and they basically have a club face that starts the ball just slightly to left of target, and it drops onto the target with these little fades. Let's give it a go first of all with a bowed wrist and see what happens to the ball flight, and then potentially have a look at what the pitfalls are with it. So I'll just get myself set up. I need to just make a little rehearsal here just to get a feeling of what that bowed wrist feels like. So for me there, that was a really square divot. Ball flight was a little bit on the low side, maybe a smidge heavy, but not much. But that ball definitely came out a bit lower. So for me, I would say that my speed with a 6-iron is around the 89 mark in terms of club head speed, 88. It's not quite fast as these other guys, in fact nowhere near as fast as these other guys. So I don't have that natural speed that's going to get that ball peaking up in the air enough. My problem, I think, would be when I get the long irons in my hand. I could see that it going a little bit lower and a bit flat. And okay, I didn't turn as hard at that one because I had to feel a position at the top, but the ball flight was definitely flatter. So if you don't naturally have a lot of speed, it's not necessarily a great way for you to play. What you might want to have a look at is that you just want to play with either a slightly flat or even slightly cut left wrist, and then use your own body speed and find the way that you can get the right fit for your golf swing. For me, mine's always slightly flat in terms of the left wrist, and it just works great for my swing. But when I've tried to do the bow just out of just pure curiosity, I've always seen that that ball just doesn't stay in the air for quite long enough because I don't have the speed. So the message to you guys is, if you don't have the speed, don't try and put the bow in. So let's just see what happens to the flight here in terms of height itself to my eye whilst we're right here, and see, you know, is it a lot higher with a normal golf swing? So exact same spot. So at its peak, that one is way higher, like miles higher. Okay, I couldn't distribute the ball flight with the bowed wrist in terms of it was really straight, but obviously it just came out really flat. If I was going to do that, I'd need to have more body speed, so it isn't for me. But it's not about copying what the trends are on tour. You've got to find out what fits your golf swing. So if you're struggling with things, don't just jump onto the latest trends. You have to know what it is that these guys do and how they can make it work for their game, and do the things that are going to make your game improve. If you haven't got the speed, stay away from the bow. It probably won't be the best thing for you because you don't want that ball coming into the green on a really flat angle. If you enjoyed this video, guys, please give it a thumbs up. As always, thanks for watching, and talking with you again soon.